Part 60. The Lucky Bag is Reborn with Space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 591. Chapter 591. Don't argue with him. Songmoting is sitting in the living room of the Song family at this moment. Old Mrs. Song's complexion was not good, and her eyes were blue. Obviously the old lady didn't sleep well last night. Songmoting was distressed and helpless. The aunt brought tea and a glass of juice to the old lady. The old lady had a severe headache just now. She probably didn't sleep well last night, so she looks very haggard today. Specially asked her to pour a glass of peach juice. When Zhang Xiaoxiao was here, he specially put 2 bottles of this peach juice in the kitchen for the old lady and the old man. And it's very clear, don't drink a lot every time you drink half a cup at most. Auntie had a complicated mood when pouring the juice. Put down the juice. Auntie sank for a long time and did not leave. Old Mrs. Song picked up the cup and took a sip. Her headache seemed to be relieved a little. Suddenly I remembered the origin of this peach juice and suddenly felt a little uncomfortable. Take it away, I won't drink it. Don't pour this peach juice again in the future. Auntie put away the cup silently, turned around and came back again. Sister, I want to tell you something. I'm so old and I can no longer do the housework at home, so I want to tell you that I quit. You should find someone quickly in the next 2 days. In 2 days, I will go back to the countryside tomorrow. Auntie hesitated for a long time, then gritted her teeth and said it. Mrs. Song was stunned for a moment. Why are you leaving? Sister, I am really old. You also know that I always forget this and that, and my memory is not good. The food is not as delicious as before. I should go back, I can't stay in the Song family all my life. Auntie turned and left silently. Tears fell from the corners of my eyes. Look. Everyone is getting angry. If I didn't say a few words to you that day, you would resign from me. The old lady was very angry. I feel weak in my heart. Old sisters for life, this ending was not what she wanted. Suddenly, my head hurt. Songmoting saw that the old lady looked wrong. He hurriedly wanted to go forward and help the old lady. Grandma, what's wrong with you? With a cry of surprise, Fang Xiaowai rushed over. Because Songmoting was unprepared, he was directly squeezed to one end of the sofa. Songmohuan also rushed over with his daughter in his arms. Grandma, Grandma, what's wrong with you? He turned his head and said angrily to Songmoting. Second brother, you are too unworthy. How could you treat Grandma like this and make Grandma so angry? Songmoting felt hard to explain for a while. Fang Xiaowai supported the old lady and shouted anxiously. Auntie, bring me a glass of warm water, hurry up. Auntie was also frightened and hurried to the kitchen and poured the peach juice. The old lady doesn't like it. Wash the cup, pour a cup of warm water, and send it over. The old lady drank some water and looked tired. Fang Xiaowai signaled to her aunt, Auntie, hold Nanan in your arms. Mo Huan and I will help Grandma up to rest. Auntie retracted her hand that was about to hug the old lady. Hands over the girl calmly. Songmohuan glared at Songmoting fiercely. Second brother, please drive away. Don't hinder Grandma from resting here. Grandma doesn't want to see you. Pushing Songmoting away, Songmohuan is now arrogant since his grandma's attitude towards the couple changed. What's more, now he lives in the house opposite his grandma. Although it is far away from the hospital where he works, Songmohuan is happy. There will still be a day in this life when the second brother will suffer. He just wants to be arrogant. In the past, this was the treatment given to the second brother, but now he feels proud for once. What's wrong? What's going on? What are you arguing about? Mr. Song went downstairs. He was really disgusted by the old lady and Fang Xiaowai these days. I don't want to go downstairs. I was upstairs and heard some noise below, so I came out to take a look. Song Mohuan hurriedly pointed at Song Moding and said, "Second brother, I've made Grandma so angry that she has a severe headache. I'll help Grandma up to rest. It looks a bit like a child suing the teacher." Mr. Song hurriedly went downstairs. Han took the old lady over. The old lady leaned in the old man's arms, rubbing her brows, her face pale. "Old woman, what's wrong with you, what's wrong? I have never been so worried in so many years. After all, the old woman is still several decades old. What if something bad happens and I am left alone?" Mr. Song is really worried. Fang Xiaowai took back her hand. No matter what she did, she couldn't compare to the old man. They are just a couple. But I also know that the old man doesn't like them. I cursed in my heart, wait, my bad luck value here is really not enough, otherwise I have to subdue the old man. Look at how you can still look down on us so much. Fang Xiaowai felt a little anxious. Recently, the source of bad luck seems to have suddenly disappeared. She was also anxious. I don't know what happened to Qin Dazhuang. Originally, according to her intention, Qin Dazhuang was a sustainable source of bad luck. Qin Dazhuang is gambling. Those who gamble will be in constant trouble. It was a pity that after she inquired, Zhang Xian actually divorced Qin Dazhuang and took their 2 children away. Otherwise, gamblers will generally end up selling their children and daughters if they continue to gamble. At that time, their unlucky value should be more. Unexpectedly, Qin Dazhuang and Zhang Xian divorced, and he had gained a lot of bad luck. Why is it gone now? Fang Xiaowai was also secretly anxious. All your honor and disgrace are based on your bad luck. Looks like we still have to think of something. Otherwise Mr. Song would not be able to conquer them. Fang Xiaowai was unwilling to give up. They must be pampered by the Song family. That was her greatest victory. Looking at Zhang Xiaoxiu's sad look, Fang Xiaowai felt indescribably happy. She finally has today. Every time, the person who is the most hurt, the most unwilling, and the most jealous is herself. Now that Zhang Xiaoxiao is finally stepped on by herself, the old lady loves them far more than Zhang Xiaoxiao. Even because of this pill, the old lady particularly dislikes Zhang Xiaoxiao and Song Moding. Probably because this pill was produced by me, and I don't like Zhang Xiaoxiao and Song Moding. So the old lady also dislikes them both. What the old lady is doing now is really enough to relieve her anger. The old lady raised her head and looked at the old man doubtfully. "I don't know what happened just now. I had a severe headache and my heart was congested. I'm feeling much better now." "What's your expression like? You're old, who hasn't had a headache or a fever? Besides, I'm feeling a little better now. Much better indeed. Don't stare at me with those big eyes of yours, it makes me scared." Mrs. Song sat up straight with a smile. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Fang Xiaowai hurriedly went up and said, "Grandma, at your age, you feel a little unwell, but it's a very important thing. Otherwise, I'd better accompany you to the hospital for a checkup." As usual, he held the old lady's arm with a smile. Song Mohuan also went up with his daughter in his arms. "Grandma, you should listen to Xiaowai and don't make us worry. You are so old, so don't always be angry with your second brother. He is not sensible, so don't argue with him." End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 592. Chapter 592. Grandma, what do you want? Song Moding stepped back mockingly. At this time, he didn't want to irritate the old lady. "Grandma, please have a good rest. I'm going back first so as not to make you angry. Pick up your feet and walk." The old lady suddenly shouted. "Mo Ting, where are you going? How could I be angry with you? Why should I be angry with you?" The old lady looked confused. Song Moding was very upset when he asked this question. Why are you angry with me? How could you be angry with me? In fact, I want to know, but you start to lose your temper right away, making the whole family jump up and down. Song Moding felt that he had no power to say anything to the old lady. The old lady is always so capricious that he doesn't know how to face his grandma now. Grandma and grandpa have raised him and taught him for so many years. No matter what grandma does, he can never complain about his feelings for his grandparents. However, the human heart can also get tired, and he is not a fully armed robot who cannot be harmed. It will feel uncomfortable to be ignored by grandma for no reason. Grandma, you are so old, and your sister-in-law is right. You still need to go to the hospital for a checkup. Even if you don't like me, I have to say that you should go to the hospital for a checkup. I'm going back first. Xiao Xiao and Tang Yuan are still waiting for me. I know you don't want to hear about us. Do not worry. I won't be back for a while, lest you be upset when you see me. Song Moding was really discouraged. Today I went to see the old lady because I wanted to have a heart-to-heart talk with my grandson and talk things over. But looking at the old lady like this, how can we talk about it? Don't make the old lady angry, at least it's true. Old MRS Song was anxious. Hey, you kid, what are you talking about? Why do I see you? You are angry with me. Where are you going? You haven't seen me recently. Don't make me upset. Why should I be upset with you? You are my favorite grandson, when have I ever been upset with you? The old lady felt that these people were inexplicable. Fang Xiaowai suddenly felt bad. Why is the old lady not so disgusted with Song Moding? It's not right. Grandma, what are you going to do? You are good to me today and bad to me tomorrow. I can't even figure out what you want to do now. What on earth do you want your grandson to do to you? I am also a human being, and I will be hurt in my heart. You can't treat me like a puppy or kitten. If you like it, touch 2 handfuls, if you don't, just throw it aside. Song Moding roared angrily. Grandma's attitude is so infuriating and hurtful. Old MRS Song was even more confused when Song Moding yelled at her. He grabbed the old man and asked, "Old man, what's wrong with this kid? Why did he get so angry at me? What did I do? Why was he good to him today and bad to him tomorrow? When did I not treat him well? Are you feeling better?" Looking confused. The old man was also angry. The old woman must be sincere. She bullied other children to this extent and still said this. You have driven Mo Ting Xiao Xiao and Tang Yuan out. They are far away from you now. What else do you want? Now your favorite Xiaowai and Mo Huanan are by your side. What else do you want? So, what do you want from these children? There is no such thing as a bully. Even if you have something on your mind, you cannot express it properly. I don't know when you became like this, playing tricks on people. This is our own grandson. I just don't know. I can't figure out why Mo Ting offended you. The old man also felt aggrieved for his grandson. Old MRS Song looked at Fang Xiaowai, then at Song Mohuan, and at her daughter. Pointing to himself with a look of astonishment. Old man, you said that I kicked out little Mo Ting and Tang Yuan, and now that they have moved away, I also brought Xiao Hui Mohuan and Nanan to my side. Could this be what I did? Are you? Didn't you have hysteria in your dream yesterday? I can be such a person, I like Mo Ting so much, what nonsense are you talking about? I grew up watching those glutinous rice balls, that is my life, that is my darling. How could I possibly drive away my glutinous rice balls? No one can drive away the glutinous rice even if I drive them away. The old lady definitely doesn't believe it. As soon as these words came out, Fang Xiaowai's heart really skipped a beat, it was over. Why did the old lady suddenly wake up? The medicine given by the system is not guaranteed to do whatever you want after drinking it for the rest of your life. How come it is still effective? Fang Xiaohuai's face turned dark. I have not enjoyed the old lady's favor for a few days in total, which only lasts for half a month. Is that all? Song Mohuan was even more confused. What does grandma mean? Nanan opened her little hands and walked towards the old lady. Grandma, give me a hug. Mrs. Song could not direct her anger at the child. When she picked up the child, her whole body muscles were stiff. I suddenly thought of my glutinous rice balls. Could it be that I really drove away the glutinous rice balls? Turning around to look at the old man's expression, and then at Song Moding's expression, these two people didn't look like they were lying, and there was no need to lie. Who would make such a joke or tell such a lie about such a big matter? Old man, tell me what's going on. Why do I feel like I'm in a dream? The old lady was really aggrieved and frustrated. She didn't know what she had done. It was only then that the old man realized something was wrong. The old lady's expression didn't look like she was lying. She really felt that she was innocent. Having lived with his wife all his life, how can he not understand that his wife is not the kind of person who plays tricks on others? In other words, my wife really doesn't know what he has done now. Co-author for more than half a month, the old lady has been living in a state of confusion. Song Moding saw that something was not right, so he hurried back and sat on the sofa. This is not the time to leave. He is afraid that something will happen to Grandma. Grandma's situation is indeed very suspicious. The old man told the old lady what happened in more than half a month in detail. The more the old lady listened, the darker his face became. The more the old lady listened, the sadder her expression became. She looked at his grandson with eyes full of love and pity, and her heart was full of love and pity. Extremely sad. What on earth have you done? Why do you get more and more confused as you get older? No wonder people say you are old and confused. What have you done? Emoting. I'm sorry, Grandma, maybe she is really old and confused. Grandma doesn't remember what happened in the past half a month. I feel like I just woke up like this after sleeping. The old lady herself was afraid. I am afraid that if I become like that half month again in 2 days, it will hurt my grandson. I actually treat my grandson like this since he was a child. Xiao Xiao and Tang Yuan are such good children. Tang Yuan is a poop-peeing person. He was actually willing to drive the dumplings out. When I think of this old lady, my heart is as sharp as a knife. What can Song Moding say? Grandma is really confused. Grandma, don't say you're sorry. I'm sorry. You are my grandma and you will be my grandma all your life. It doesn't matter how you treat me. How can we be so careless as we are grandparents? Let's not talk about this. I will send it to you immediately. You should go to the hospital. I don't think it's good for you to look like this. It would be better to have the doctor check you out in detail, just in case there is something wrong with you. We must treat it if it needs to be treated. Don't let this delay you. The old man also meant the same thing, and the family hurried to the hospital. No one paid any attention to Fang Xiaowai and Song Mohuan. The aunt held her daughter in her arms, and the child gnawed her fingers strangely. I don't know why everyone disappeared all of a sudden. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Lucky Bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 593. Chapter 593 Meeting Again. Qin Dazhuan closed the stall. He opened a pancake stall in front of the university. Carrying big bags is not a long-term solution. He has already made a good deal. After carrying the big bag for several months, I saved a sum of money and paid back the money to those people. The amount was not much, but it showed my sincerity. Sister Mao and those people didn't have to kill Qin Dazhuang before they were willing to do so. They allowed Qin Dazhuang to return his favor slowly in disguise. As long as you pay back the money, it's easy. Qin Dazhuang now rents a small bungalow by himself. The monthly rent is only 5 yuan. In fact, 5 yuan is quite a lot. How much does a worker's salary cost per month? Then I got myself a small cart. The only thing he knew how to make was pancakes, which he learned from his wife, so he opened a pancake stall in front of the school. Qin Dazhuang's right hand was really damaged by the few blows he made. Although it has recovered, the function of this hand is still a little bit worse. On rainy days, the hand will still hurt. But every time his hand hurt, he thought of his firm determination. This time he was determined to change his ways. He found it very strange. When he saw other people playing cards before, he seemed to be obsessed with it. He couldn't help but move up, and all 18 paws in his heart wanted to grab the card. But now, since he took the brick this time, other people's playing cards no longer have that appeal to him. When people ask him to play cards, he can refuse them with a smile, and he doesn't feel itchy at all. Qin Dazhuang is more confident in himself. He will definitely do well, as long as he changes his ways and starts over. He never thought that he and Zhang Xian could get back together, and his wife was heartbroken by him. Thinking about how he treated Zhang Xian at that time, Qin Dazhuang wanted to slap himself. Is he still a man? He has not been able to lift a finger on his wife since she married him. But at that moment he was just going crazy, and he didn't know what was wrong with him. To do such things to his daughter and his wife, what he used to hate the most was men beating women, but he ended up becoming such a person. This feeling is really uncomfortable. He just wants to make good money and work hard to support his 2 daughters in school. He can't let Zhang Xian raise 2 children as a woman. He is still a man? All he can do now is pay back the money and work hard to make money to support his wife and children. It was getting dark and there were not many students. He was going to close the stall and go back. Supper consisted of these leftover pancakes, and he had to eat the rest that couldn't be sold anyway. Fortunately, the business here is good, and I can earn almost 7 or 8 yuan every day. He is a down-to-earth businessman and is particular about the materials he uses, so students like to come to him to buy pancakes. Business is really good. It was more than the salary he earned at work at that time. He thought that if he saved a few more months, he would be able to pay back a lot of money and buy a small yard. When the time comes, he will find a way to see his daughter and take her to live in his yard. Zhang Xian would not deny him access to his daughter. The wife and father-in-law's family are all good people, and they cannot do such a thing. The house he is renting now is a large courtyard, filled with tenants, out-of-towners, rag-pickers, and everyone with messes. He does not want to bring his daughter here, as this will not be good for the child. Qin Dazhuang, who was far away, suddenly felt as if someone was watching him. He raised his head suddenly and saw La De holding Zhao De there and looking at him. Zhang Xian pushed the bicycle and stared at him dumbfounded without saying anything. Qin Dazhuang wiped his hands in embarrassment. He had been selling pancakes for a day. He was dirty and smelled so much of oil smoke that he felt a little embarrassed to see the children and Zhang Xian. He looks too sloppy. Dad. Dad. The 2 children didn't think so much and rushed forward. The 2 children hugged their father's thighs affectionately. Since the last separation from the hospital, the 2 children have not seen their father for several months. Today, my mother took the 2 of them to the bookstore on a bicycle to buy books. Because today is Sunday, they don't go to school. After buying books, they unexpectedly saw Qin Dazhuang setting up a stall here. Zhang Xian stood aside silently. Qin Dazhuang has really changed. The last time she saw him carrying a big bag, she felt bad. I also knew that Qin Dazhuang had such a big incident. How could the factory still want him? He would definitely be expelled. After being expelled, he didn't expect that Qin Dazhuang would start living like this again and live a down-to-earth life. Zhang Xian told herself that she no longer needed to care about Qin Dazhuang, because this man had nothing to do with her. Whether he is good or bad, dead or alive has nothing to do with her. As a gambler, she absolutely does not want to have anything to do with him. If it weren't for the fact that the child is an inseparable bond, Zhang Xian would not want to think of this past event. But I didn't expect to see Qin Dazhuang here again. Looking at his proficiency in doing business, it can be seen that he has been doing business here for a long time. Otherwise, you won't be able to make pancakes so skillfully. See him bending down to pack things again. Zhang Xian was really shocked. Qin Dazhuang is really surprising. Why are you here? Qin Dazhuang had not seen his two children for a long time, but he was filled with joy when he saw his two daughters. I want to hug her, but I can't bear to let the oil on my body get on the children. Seeing two daughters dressed like little butterflies, I knew that the mother-in-law and father-in-law had never treated their daughters badly, and they were both good people. He doesn't need to worry about this at all. Mom took us to buy books when we passed by. I could tell at a glance that the pancake seller was actually my father. Zayadai said proudly. Lottie explained dissatisfiedly, I didn't see it because I was sitting on the back seat of my mother's bicycle. If I had seen him, I would have known it was my father at a glance. Qin Dazhuang said to his daughter in a cheerful voice. Don't hug Dad's lap. Dad is too dirty. It won't be good if your clothes are soiled in a while. By the way, you haven't eaten yet, right? Dad's pancakes are delicious. I'll make them for you to try. Would you like to try Dad's cooking? The only thing he can do for his two daughters is to make pancakes. Now he really can't do anything. The two little guys immediately clapped their hands and cheered. Okay, the pancakes made by Dad must be particularly delicious, we want to eat them. Qin Dazhuang quickly opened the fire and made pancakes for the two children. Zhang Xian could only push the bicycle in front of her and set it aside, silently watching Qin Dazhuang working there without saying a word. In this atmosphere, it was inappropriate for her to say anything. Besides, what else could there be between the two of them? Said. Qin Dazhuang hurriedly opened the fire and made 3 pancakes, adding enough ingredients. After making the pancakes, he handed them to his two daughters and handed one of them to Zhang Xian. Try it, I'm in the pancake business now, and I learned how to make pancakes from you. I don't know if it tastes good. Qin Dazhuang was at a loss. Facing his ex-wife, he felt regretful, annoyed and self-blame. Zhang Xian looked at the expectant looks in her two daughters' eyes and had no choice but to take it and take a small bite. Not to mention it tasted really delicious. It seems that Qin Dazhuang has really worked hard. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 594. Chapter 594 Grandma is awake. Qin Dazhuang cleaned up the stall and talked to his two children while doing so. Dad runs a pancake business and will save money for you to go to school in the future. You must listen to your mother, listen to your grandma and grandpa, and study hard in the future. Don't be like Dad in the future. You must be like your aunt, and take exams like your uncle and the others. College, be a capable person, you hear me? Qin Dazhuang's eyes are full of love. His daughter is his lifeblood and his hope. I don't know why I was so obsessed with wanting a son at that time. In fact, there is nothing wrong with my daughter. My daughter is just a little cotton-padded jacket. Look at how I treated my daughter, and her daughter is still so close to him when she sees him. He did too many things wrong. Zhao Diradai nodded, Dad, don't work so hard. Just take care of yourself. We will work hard to go to school. We don't have to spend so much money. My aunt said that if you go to university, the state will provide living expenses and you won't have to pay tuition. Me and my sister will definitely study hard. Like my aunt and uncle, we can reduce the burden on our parents and don't have to make them work so hard. Dad, why don't you come back and live with Mom and us? Don't you want us anymore? The two children didn't understand what it meant about divorce. Qin Dazwang choked. Looked at Zhang Xian awkwardly. Zhang Xian packed up the pancakes in her hands. Big girl, second girl is leaving. It's too late. If you go back later, Grandma and Grandpa should be worried. Zhao Diradai nodded. We understand, Dad, goodbye. Zayadai quietly held her father's hand and said, Dad, do you always set up a stall here? Can I come over to see you? I miss you very much. Qin Dazwang burst into tears. He also missed his children. But it is your own fault. Good boy, don't come over to see your father. After your father settles down, he will pick you up and go to his father's place to play with your sister, okay? You should obey your mother's words obediently and wait for your father to pick you up. Zayadai nodded. She was too young. What does a 4-year-old know? But he has a natural affection for his father. The two children got in the car. Zhang Xian got on his bicycle and left. Disappeared into the dark night. Qin Dazwan covered his face and squatted in front of his cart and cried. All this is my own retribution. If you do something wrong, you will be punished, and Qin Dazwang hates himself. Zhang Xiaoxiao was very happy when he returned home. Things were finally smoothed out today. Old Mrs. Wu stepped forward to serve as the director, and the hospital's opening was not affected. All that remains is to recruit doctors. The old lady also said that doctors in private hospitals like theirs and public hospitals would definitely not be willing to come. Who would want to come to a private hospital when they are clearly holding on to their iron rice bowl? Private hospitals are just small clinics in their minds. How can ordinary doctors be willing to come to a small clinic? Unless you work alone. This is why Mrs. Song came forward to find her students, because if she didn't use this kind of kindness, no one would be willing to come. Old Mrs. Wu gave Zhang Xiaoxiao some reassurance and told her not to worry too much about the doctor. Go back and look for your own students with the old man. There will always be students including uncles and uncles at home who are willing to come to their hospital to work. The opening of the hospital must be put on the schedule early, otherwise the newspapers won't know what to say about it. Zhang Xiaoxiao didn't care. The more their hospital was mentioned in the newspapers, the more discussions there were. In fact, it was a disguised advertisement for their hospital. When it opens in the future, it is expected that many people will come to see the excitement. At this time, not many people understand the advertising effect. This is free advertising for yourself, and others don't have it yet. She came home late. When she got home, she found that Song Moding hadn't come back yet, and her second sister hadn't come back either. After playing with Tang Yuan'er for a long time, Zhang Xiaoxiao returned to their home holding Tang Yuan'er. I gave Tang Yuan a bath and tucked the little guy into the bed. The little guy could no longer open his eyes. He is too energetic all day long, playing from morning till night, and only sleeps for half an hour at most before getting up during the day, so at night he is so tired that he can't even open his eyes. Looking at the fat little bun sleeping with his arms and legs spread out on the bed, Xiao Xiao's heart was filled with tenderness. This is my precious son, but I am still worried. Where did Song Moding go today? When he left too early and didn't tell himself where he was going, but he didn't see his shadow for a whole day. This is not normal. Finally hearing the sound, Zhang Xiaoxiao looked at his watch. It was already past 11 o'clock. Hurry out and greet him, and it turns out to be Song Moding. He parked the car, pushed open the courtyard door and came in, where he was bolting the door. Turning around, he saw his wife standing at the door. She came over with a smile on her face, hugged Zhang Xiaoxiao's waist and entered the house. Zhang Xiaoxiao smelled the smell of alcohol on his body. She pushed him dissatisfied. Did I tell you not to drink while driving? Drunk driving is very serious. You are a stubborn person. You can't go to bed with me and glutinous rice tonight. Because this is not the future, the problem of drivers drinking is not so strict. But Zhang Xiaoxiao doesn't want Song Moding to develop this habit. After all, Song Moding always goes out and drives. If you develop the habit of drinking and driving, something will happen in the future. As the saying goes, if you always walk by the river, your shoes will never get wet. It will be too late if something goes wrong. Song Moding pulled Zhang Xiaoxiao back. His wife must have disliked his drunkenness, but he was happy today and really wanted to share his inner joy with his wife. Hold Zhang Xiaoxiao tightly and put his head on her shoulder. Xiaoxiao, you know, I am really happy. I have never been so happy as I am today in my life. Hearing this, Zhang Xiaoxiao softened his body and pushed him away without force. This man is generally relatively reserved and rarely expresses his inner emotions so intensely. When he is happy, he is really happy, and he cannot hide his joy. What's wrong? Is there anything worth being happy about? Share it. We are husband and wife. We share difficulties and blessings naturally. You should let your wife know about good things. Of course, I also have good news to share with you. The two of them have encountered too many bad things recently, and she also wants Song Moding to share her joy today. Grandma is awake. Zhang Xiaoxiao was stunned. What do you mean by this? What does it mean for Grandma to be awake? There is no one else but Mrs. Song who can call me Grandma. Could it be that the old lady is sick? Zhang Xiaoxiao hurriedly pushed Song Moding away. What's wrong with Grandma? Is Grandma sick? What does it mean that Grandma is awake? Have you come back from the hospital? No wonder I smell disinfectant on you besides the smell of alcohol smell. You should speak. What happened to Grandma? Song Moding saw Zhang Xiaoxiao's anxious look, but he was moved in his heart. Zhang Xiaoxiao was not raised by her grandma. To Zhang Xiaoxiao, her grandma could only be regarded as a stranger. They only had a relationship for just over 2 years, but Zhang Xiaoxiao was sincerely filial to his grandparents. It's not pretending, Zhang Xiaoxiao is a kind-hearted person, and the kindness in his heart cannot be faked. Even if Grandma did such a thing to Zhang Xiaoxiao would not complain at all. Grandma is still so concerned when it comes to me. I am so lucky. Married a good woman. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 595. Chapter 595, Not That Kind of Person. I knew you would be anxious. When I said Grandma was awake, I didn't mean that Grandma was sick. I meant that Grandma was treating us like that for the past half month, and she didn't even know it. She suddenly woke up today, and she was also upset. No. I could see that Grandma didn't know anything at all. She had no idea what she had done in the past half month. Song Moding took off his coat. Zhang Xiaoxiao filled a basin of warm water and washed his face. Are you serious? Why is there still such a thing? As soon as Zhang Xiaoxiao heard this, he thought of Fang Xiaowai. After his rebirth, he had a space. What about Fang Xiaowai's rebirth? Is it possible that Fang Xiaowai also possesses some strange golden finger after her rebirth, which can change a person's mind and thoughts? Song Moding said with a smile while washing his face. We sent Grandma to the hospital for a checkup. The doctor said that Grandma is in very good health. We can't figure out what exactly caused this condition. But Grandma is very conscious now. The only worry is whether Grandma will still be in trouble in the future. This happens from time to time. Song Moding washed his face. Grandpa felt very happy today, so he asked me to drink some wine. I knew I didn't drink much. I felt that I was also very happy. This was something worthy of celebration, so I had 2 drinks with Grandpa. Songmoding took a look and saw that his son was lying in the middle of the bed with his arms and legs spread out, sleeping soundly. Grandma misses the glutinous rice balls. Let's take the glutinous rice back to see Grandma tomorrow. Grandma misses you too. Grandma said you are the most sorry. You didn't enjoy much happiness when you married into our family. Instead, you have to suffer this inexplicably because of the old lady. Wronged. Songmoding was afraid that Zhang Xiaoxiao would really have a estrangement from the old lady. Zhang Xiaoxiao drank water. I know, I will take the rice dumplings back to see Grandma tomorrow. Don't worry, I don't have any thoughts about Grandma. I think what happened to Grandma this time is too strange. I can't guarantee that something like this will happen again in the future. Zhang Xiaoxiao reminded Songmoding, but she couldn't talk nonsense because she couldn't figure it out until now. What is Fang Xiaohuai's trump card? Evidence must be produced for everything. At least there is no doubt about Fang Xiaohuai now. No one would believe Zhang Xiao's novel. Even I don't believe it a little bit. Things that can be produced in your own space can cure diseases and save people. However, Fang Xiaohuai did not show anything special despite being hostile to her. If Fang Xiaohuai really had such a method, it should have been used on the old lady long ago. Why did she have to wait until now? It is unreasonable and unjustifiable to wait until the old lady likes glutinous rice so much before attacking the old lady. Not Fang Xiaohuai. That's impossible too. The biggest beneficiary of this incident is definitely Fang Xiaohuai. I also told my grandparents that these things were indeed a bit strange, and asked them to pay attention to the entrance stuff in the future. But I couldn't figure it out myself. There seemed to be no connection between Grandma being confused and suddenly waking up, and nothing special about it. Songmoding himself was also thinking. Doctors can't even check it out. At first he thought it might be some legendary special poisoning, or some kind of poison, but thinking about it, he was a doctor, how could he believe so much in these non-scientific things? It's simply unbearable. Probably because of Zhang Xiaoxiao's influence on me, because there are many unscientific things in Zhang Xiaoxiao. But the doctor checked and found that there was nothing wrong with the old lady's health. They did this check several times, and they did all the tests. There was neither poisoning nor anything wrong. The old lady was fine and just like a normal person. She didn't even have any minor illnesses or disasters. This is strange. Old Mrs. Song held her aunt's hand. Uma, I know I was a fool some time ago and said or did something to you that made you uncomfortable. Don't take it to heart. I really can't remember it myself. But today Mo Ting told me, if you want to resign from me, I will guess that I must have done something. We have been old sisters for so many years. I feel really at ease having you by my side. You have worked in our family all your life. You are not only the aunt in this family, you are also the sister I grew up with. For this family, you yourself are not married and have no children. I still don't know what kind of person your nephew is. You can't go back, stay, you are not an aunt in this family, you are my sister. We need you. Mrs. Song's words were serious and thoughtful. She felt really guilty. If her sisters really went back to live with her nephew, if they were left homeless in the future, then she would have been harmed by herself. Auntie's eyes turned red. That well-educated, fair, and strict old lady is back again. If I don't leave, how can I be willing to leave, with you here? How can I be willing to let you be here alone? This is what I am saying from my heart. It's enough for the 2 old sisters to renovate. I have to tell you that my nephew has received my letter. He should arrive tomorrow and will take me back to my hometown. Auntie herself was also embarrassed. The 2 sisters had a little quarrel and she really wanted to go back. Of course her nephew will come. If she hadn't subsidized her nephew for so many years, he would never have lived in the countryside. Now that he heard that she was going back, his nephew was absolutely convinced. He was probably thinking that she must have saved a lot of money over the years. It's not just about her money. Just come here. Let the driver pick him up tomorrow. Just send him back after he has something to eat and drink. Prepare something for them. It's not easy for people to come all the way. No matter what, this is because it's because of me, an old lady, so you should be nicer to others. Although I know that your nephew is nothing, at least we must do our best to be kind and righteous in this matter. Auntie nodded. Tomorrow Tang Yuan and the others will come back. You can make them something delicious. I really miss the children. I don't know how those half-months came. How could I be so cruel to kick the children out? Fang Ziyi and Mo Huan are already living across the street. If I kick them out again, it would be unjustifiable. Hey, what's wrong with me? Old MRS Song is so troubled. The aunt tried to persuade her, it's okay. I can see that Mo Ting and Xiao Ziona are both broad-minded people and won't care about this. You were sick at that time. You could still take your illness seriously and be really friendly. My grandma cares. Those two children are not like that. MRS Song nodded happily, yes, they are not that kind of people. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Lucky Bag is Reborn with Space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 596. Chapter 596 Make It Clear. Zhang Xiaoxiao got up early in the morning. It's not a big deal if she can't afford it. Her son is like a little alarm clock, getting up automatically at 6 o'clock every morning. The two of them still have a lot of studying to do, so naturally they can't get up late. As soon as I got up, I packed up the dumplings and sent them directly to my parents. At this time, they took advantage of not sending the dumplings to the old lady's house, and now they had to study quickly. The daily homework must not be left behind. There have been a lot of things recently, and they have spent less time on their homework. The two of them are afraid that their studies will deteriorate. Once Fan Jiuying heard that Zhang Xiaoxiao and Song Moding went back to see the old lady with glutinous rice balls, she finally let go of her worries. The couple had been worried that Zhang Xiaoxiao and the old lady would not get along well. Now that I have gone back to see the old lady, it proves that our relationship has eased. We are all one family, so there is no need to have an overnight feud. When Zhang Xiaoxiao took Tang Yuan and Song Moding upstairs, he bumped into Fang Ziyi who happened to be out. Fang Ziyi held her daughter in her arms and prepared to send her to MRS Song. They have to go to work. Recently, Nanan has not been sent to daycare because she has fallen in favor with MRS Song. So she held the child and prepared to send it to the old lady. Last night, Fang Ziyi thought about it all night, and her mind was tossing and turning. But she just couldn't figure out the reason. Her own system was silent at all. Whatever she wanted to ask, the other party didn't answer. Fang Ziyi felt so uncomfortable that she was scratching her heart and lungs. She finally got a little bit of bad luck and changed to such a medicine. The results are not good now. Everything that was going well suddenly turned upside down. Fang Ziyi still doesn't understand why everything is so difficult when she gets here. The old lady came back very late from the hospital yesterday, and it was inconvenient for the couple to come over. By that time, she had already gone to bed with her child. I don't know if the old lady checked out or not, so I drugged the old lady. How could Fang Ziyi dare to go to work like this today? So she gave it a try with her baby in her arms to see if the old lady had recovered or not. She would be relieved if she didn't recover, but if she did, Fang Ziyi really had to be vigilant. It seemed that there were many variables around the old lady. Of course the biggest variable is Zhang Xiaoxiao. The only thing that Fang Xiaowai thinks is the biggest variable is Zhang Xiaoxiao, because she has changed a lot of things since she came back in this life, so she really thought that because of the changes she made, many things in her previous life also quietly changed. This is normal, not a butterfly effect. She didn't think much about it. She didn't even notice some of the changes in Zhang Xiaoxiao's body, but now that she thought about it, it seemed that something was wrong with Zhang Xiaoxiao. If this change is not caused by his own changes, then it is the changes made by Zhang Xiaoxiao himself. In that case, the only thing that can be determined is that Zhang Xiaoxiao may have the same memory of rebirth as her. Coming back with the memories of the previous life will naturally change everything in this life. So what cards does Zhang Xiaoxiao have? Your own trump card is the system, so what is Zhang Xiaoxiao's trump card? Is it also a system? No wonder Zhang Xiaoxiao is doing well now. It seems that Zhang Xiaoxiao's system is much more powerful than his own. At least it is extremely difficult to redeem it in your own system mall. Why is it so easy and so difficult to get some bad luck on your own? Now it is almost as if enemies are extremely jealous when they meet. When Fang Xiaowai saw Song Moding and Zhang Xiaoxiao, she didn't even say hello and knocked on the door. Xiaoxiao herself feels happy. Is it possible that Fang Xiaowai doesn't even want to lose face now? This is the rhythm of breaking up. This is not the method used by Fang Xiaowai in her previous life. This person was definitely a noob in her previous life, and she protected her reputation very well. She greeted everyone with a smile. How come this time it became the method she used in her previous life? So moody, with joy and anger reflected in color. Hey, she was forced to do so, but she didn't do anything to bully Fang Xiaowai. In this life, I have never used any special means to deal with Fang Xiaowai. At most, I just exposed her character. Auntie opened the door, and Fang Xiaowai didn't even say hello. She went straight in to find the old lady with her daughter in her arms. Old Mrs. Song and Mr. Song are in the living room right now. The old lady is flipping through a book there, and the old man is reading a newspaper. It is rare for the couple to have leisure time here. Of course the old lady was flipping through the book and her ears were listening to the sound. I felt a little excited when I heard the noise. Mainly because she knew that she had neglected Zhang Xiaoxiao and Tang Yuan for more than half a month, and she felt really bad about it. She even felt that she was a little embarrassed to see these two children. How could I do such an outrageous thing in the past half month? At this moment, when I heard the noise, I stood up hurriedly, and saw Fang Xiaowai walking in with her daughter in her arms. He looked a little worried. The old lady then remembered that Fang Xiaowai's affairs had not been settled yet, so she lived across the street. My head couldn't help but hurt from time to time. This was all my own fault. Grandma, Mo Huan and I have to go to work, and I'll leave my daughter to you. As soon as Nanan saw it, Mrs. Song clapped her hands happily. Recently, she especially likes her great-grandmother and great-grandpa, because her great-grandmother likes her very much. Old Mrs. Song's face was a little helpless. At such an old age, it would be inappropriate for me to go too far. After all, this is my great-granddaughter. Xiaowai, the child will be left with us today, don't worry. When Fang Xiaowai heard this, she finally let go of her worries. It seems that grandma has not changed much. I guess it was just an accidental mistake yesterday. Old Mrs. Song took the girl and handed it to the aunt next to her. Of course auntie knows that the old lady is feeling sick right now, but she can't do it to such a young child. He naturally held the child in his arms and went directly upstairs. Leave this place to the adults to talk. Xiaowai, if you have to go to work in a hurry, I won't let you stay. However, you should send your children to the nursery starting tomorrow. Your grandfather and I are old and don't have so much energy to help you take care of your children. If not, send it to your mother-in-law. The old lady didn't want to go too far, but she still had to say something, Otherwise the couple would run here with the child every day and she would feel uncomfortable. Leave it alone, it's inappropriate. Just take care of it, she doesn't want to take care of it either. If she helps Fang Xiaowai take care of the children, what will they do with their glutinous rice balls? How will they have time to take care of the glutinous rice balls? This man has only one heart. The old lady only has glutinous rice in her heart, and she really can't hold other children. No way. It's okay to say that she is partial. But my heart is always towards Mo Ting and Xiao Xiao. Failing to speak clearly will only make the matter worse. It was a done deal if she didn't drive Fang Xiaowai and Song Mohuan out of the house opposite, and it was her doing. You cannot be moody and drive away one grandson and then another. But if she wants her to be like before, she really can't do this with Fang Xiaowai and Nanan. Fang Xiaowai looked at old Mrs. Song in shock. She could no longer see the love and pampering she had shown before in the old lady's eyes. Fang Xiaowai understood in her heart that the old lady was now completely awake and those medicines would never have any effect. Otherwise, the old lady couldn't treat her like this. Lowering his eyes, he nodded obediently to the old lady. Okay, Grandma, I understand. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 597. Chapter 597. The unlucky value can be obtained in this way. Fang Xiaowai walked out and passed Zhang Xiao Xiao. I heard Mrs. Song's voice of surprise. Oh, my dear Tang Yuaner, you are finally here, my great-grandma misses you so much. Come on, my great-grandma will give you a hug. Grandma. The soft and glutinous sound of glutinous rice made Fang Xiaowai clench her fists. Tang Yuan, you make my grandma want to die. Do you miss my grandma? Fang Xiaowai can't stay any longer. If she stays any longer, Fang Xiaowai will definitely be unable to bear it and burst into anger. Fang Xiaowai got on the bus and came to the hospital. When she was at work, she was always absent-minded, thinking about what to do about this matter. This system has undergone tremendous changes. It used to be that Qin Dazhuang could add a little unlucky value to himself from time to time, but recently there is no unlucky value at all. I'm afraid Qin Dazhuang has no faith at all. The old lady doesn't like herself at all. Fang Xiaowai feels that she still has to expand the capabilities of her system. Isn't it just about being unlucky? It means to make others suffer. So she had to think about what to do. Zhang Xiaoxiao can't let Zhang Xiaoxiao gain the upper hand. Zhang Xiaoxiao relies on the system she owns to treat herself with disdain and trample herself under her feet in this life. Zhang Xiaoxiao must be very proud. She absolutely cannot let Zhang Xiaoxiao be so proud. Zhang Xiaoxiao couldn't beat him in his last life, so there's no reason why he can't beat her in this life. Since everyone is reborn and has a system, let's see whose method is more powerful and superior. The patient in bed 8 of Ward 5 has a severe allergic reaction. Hurry over and take a look. The head nurse was shocked when she heard this from the pager. She rushed over with 2 nurses and asked the other nurses to call the doctor. Fang Xiaowai followed the head nurse and rushed to the ward. The patient was lying on the bed, his face was livid, and his eyes were white. The patient's family members were so anxious that their eyes were red. What's going on? It's only been 5 minutes since the infusion, and the person is already like this. What's going on? Shouldn't you have had an allergic reaction? How could this happen? The patient's family members grabbed the head nurse by the collar. Fang Xiaowai glanced at the infusion bottle hurriedly. This patient is obviously allergic to penicillin, but this bottle of liquid actually contains penicillin. She secretly thought that the bottle of liquid she had just lost was her own. At that time, she was absent-minded and thinking about other things, and did not pay attention to what the liquid was. He didn't pay attention to the patient's symptoms. At this time, the doctor arrived and hurriedly separated the patient's family and the head nurse. Don't get angry now. Let's rescue the patient first. If we delay at this time, we will delay the patient's life. The family reluctantly stepped aside, and doctors and nurses rushed forward to give the patient first aid. Fang Xiaowai hurriedly returned to the nurse's office and opened the list of the patient's infusion just now. What to do? What should we do now? If someone discovers that he infused the wrong fluid into the patient because he was absent-minded, his job will not be guaranteed at that time. If the patient's life is really in danger, he will be criminally responsible. Fang Xiaowai's face turned pale with fright. No, she can't let herself get into this kind of predicament. If this job is not guaranteed and Mrs. Song no longer likes her as before, then she will become unemployed. How can that be done? It's strange that Song's mother has a good attitude toward her. Fang Xiaowai was anxious and looked through her system anxiously to see if there was anything in the mall that she could redeem with her only bad luck points, which could change the current situation. Turn things around. Her unlucky points are not much left now, only 20 points at most. As soon as she opened her system mall, she was dumbfounded. Why did her unlucky value suddenly rise to 580? Fang Xiaowai suddenly realized that this so-called unlucky value was caused by her fault. This time she gave someone the wrong fluid by mistake, and this patient created such a high unlucky value for her. Fang Xiaowai was pleasantly surprised. Hurriedly check the items in the mall to see if there is anything that can change the current situation. Got it? She discovered a writing pen. Although the exchange value is 550, the handwriting produced by this writing pen can produce the same handwriting according to her requirements. To put it bluntly, this pen is called a change simulation pen. With this pen, she can imitate anyone's handwriting. You can also eliminate the handwriting you don't want, as if it was tailor-made for her. This pen has a time limit, which means that it can be written up to 5 times, and it cannot be used again after 5 imitations. Fang Xiaowai started quickly. The doctor's prescription was still in front of me. I immediately imitated the doctor's handwriting and changed all the original medicines on it to the medicines I was giving to the patient today. In this case, it was not that she gave the patient the wrong fluid, but that the doctor gave the patient the wrong prescription. After doing all this, Fang Xiaowai quickly put the pen into her pocket and put the prescription back to its original place. Then he slowly returned to the ward. The patient has been pushed to the emergency room. By the time Fang Xiaowai got off work, the patient had been rescued, but this matter was a serious medical accident, and of course it needed to be investigated from top to bottom. Fang Xiaowai is also one of the targets of the investigation, but it is obvious that she has been eliminated from suspicion now. When she got off work, Fang Xiaowai had already gone home easily, because everyone discovered that the doctor had given the wrong prescription. The doctor in charge has been ordered to suspend work for inspection, and may even be fired. It is not a small matter that a doctor made such a big mistake. Although the patient did not die today, if the patient died, it would not only be a matter for the doctors and nurses, but also the reputation of the entire hospital would be damaged. The most important thing is that when such a big thing happened, the doctor just screamed injustice at everyone, cried and shouted that the prescription he prescribed was not this prescription, and he definitely did not give this kind of medicine to the patient, knowing that the patient had a history of allergies. Drug. But everyone has checked the handwriting, and this is the doctor's own handwriting. If he refuses to admit it, others will only think that he is unrepentant. Even the dean was angry. Tell him that given his irresponsible attitude and complete refusal to admit his mistakes. Now it is not just a matter of suspension and examination, but also a direct expulsion of the doctor's qualifications. This doctor will never be able to be a doctor again. Fang Xiaowai was sitting on the bus, secretly flipping through her system. The unlucky value in the system has now returned to 530. She was secretly proud. Needless to say, it must be the unlucky points she got after the doctor was fired. In one day, She actually got so many unlucky points. Although it has been used once, the pen can still be used 4 times, so I have to think of ways to make 4 more such mistakes. Can help you get more unlucky points. Fang Xiaowai suddenly felt that the system was not that difficult to complete the task. In fact, it is easy to get bad luck points, but I was bound by morality before. Hands tied, always thinking about not doing anything immoral. Now it seems that these are not problems. If you want to deal with Zhang Xiaoxiao, you have to be even more immoral and have no bottom line than Zhang Xiaoxiao. Otherwise, she and Zhang Xiaoxiao will only be defeated. As long as Zhang Xiaoxiao can be defeated, there is no problem in letting her do anything. Who would know that she did it anyway? End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 598. Chapter 598 Second Brother. Fang Xiaowai returned home. Think about it. The unlucky value of 530 is not worth exchanging for the medicine to deal with the old lady. MRS Song is too uncertain here. She still hasn't figured out how old MRS Song woke up. If it was Zhang Xiaoxiao who did it, she has enjoyed the old lady's love for more than half a month. It shows that Zhang Xiaoxiao had nothing to do at first. Later, when Zhang Xiaoxiao moved away, the old lady suddenly came to her senses. It means that this has nothing to do with Zhang Xiaoxiao. If Zhang Xiaoxiao had a way, he would have used it long ago. At this time, you cannot use your bad luck on the old lady again. In case it fails again, she is not here to be pampered for half a month. Since this road is blocked, she might as well think of other ways to first accumulate the unlucky points to a certain amount. After accumulating a certain value, you can't do anything you want to do. You will have plenty of time to deal with Zhang Xiaoxiao. Don't be in a hurry. Fang Xiaowai wonders who she has made unlucky. There are not many people around you who can take action. Song Mohuan definitely can't do it. Song Mohuan took her medicine and now he is obedient to her wife and is extremely doting on her. What could he do to such a submissive man to make him unlucky? Song Mohuan is healed, which is only good for her and her daughter. Song Mohuan can't do anything here, so the only people he can contact are Song's father and mother, or his colleagues in the hospital. For my colleagues in the hospital, my pen can play a big role so far. Cannot waste unlucky points. But what methods can he use on Song's mother and Song's father? It was their mother-in-law and father-in-law who caused their misfortune, and it was not just the two of them who were affected. It's not a good deal either. Fang Xiaowai felt a little worried, or else she should apply this idea to the Zhang family. But I have fallen out with Fan Qiuying and Zhang Lishi, and I don't have any contact with the Zhang family at all. She is going back now, and I am afraid that people will be very wary of her. If she is easily given the drug, it will not be successful, and maybe someone will expose her. What about the people outside the Zhang family? By the way, isn't there another boss in the Zhang family, Zhang Lokang? This uncle also has a son who is worried. That Zhang Xiong was idle all day long and did not do anything good. In his last life, he ended up in jail. Since this is a gangster, it is easier to do anything to him. Besides, this kind of person is very greedy. You can lure this kind of person into the bait with a little profit, which is different from other people. Fang Xiaowai just wanted to see the Zhang family in trouble. Zhang Xiong and his mother Feng Guihua rented a small bungalow. Feng Guihua and her husband have been divorced for several years. At first she thought that it would only take a few days and she would be able to get married again. Then live as usual. Who would have thought that Zhang Lokeng was determined not to get the money back, and urged all the children in the family to work together, live frugally, and prepare to pay back the money. Feng Guihua went back and made trouble several times, but there was no reason. She is divorced and holds the money by herself. What else do you want to do? The children at home don't turn to her. The anger in Feng Gihua's heart was something he thought was foolproof. Who would have thought of causing such a commotion? As a result, the commotion lasted for almost 2 years. But the only good thing is that he and his son are together. Although the second son is unreliable, his retirement salary is enough for the two of them to live. Zhang Xiang has long been worried about the little money in his mother's hands, and wanted to get the money into his own hands. But Feng Gihua is not stupid. She still doesn't know who her son is. This son usually hangs around and hangs out with fair-weather friends. If I really gave all the money to my son, I'm afraid there wouldn't be a penny left. I don't know yet when I can remarry the old man. With the little money I have to consider the children at home. She heard that Zhang Lokeng's meals at home now consisted of pickled vegetables and steamed buns, not even meat. It's not that they can't afford meat, it's that everyone wants to save money to pay off their debts. After all, they owe 2,500 yuan. It's not that easy to pay back the money while earning dead wages in this day and age. Feng Gihua would be lying if he said he didn't love his children. The children below are still growing and going to school. The eldest son and his wife have given birth to a child. The child is still young and they have to spend money. If this continues, the children's health will not be able to bear it. So he tightly held the money in his hands and refused to give a penny to Zhang Xiang. He would rather spend all his retirement salary than touch the money in his bank book. Zhang Xiang was so angry that he followed his mother out just for the money. Who would have thought that this mother actually had a brain? No matter how much money he said, he couldn't even get the money. He doesn't have a legitimate occupation, so he hangs out with his fair-weather friends all day long. Who wants to be friends with you if you don't have money? Zhang Xiang was worried and had no choice. He had been thinking about it for the past 2 days, otherwise he would steal the bank book and withdraw the money himself. In the end, whoever wanted to search through the house couldn't find any sign of the bank book. He was really good at hiding it. He could figure it out as soon as he thought about it. He probably hid the bank book at his uncle's house. I'm not afraid that my uncle and aunt will steal the money. Sometimes my mother really trusts her family. He came out of the house dejectedly and walked out of the alley, when he was stopped by a woman. He looked at the woman in front of him. Do not know. She is quite pretty. The question is, if a beautiful woman stops me halfway, could it be that I have met a female gangster? Zhang Xiang immediately smiled, raised his chest and raised his head, stroking his curly hair with his hands. It is now popular to perm and curl your hair. Had he not been short on money, he would have bought the floral shirt and wide-leg jeans long ago. I heard that these are popular in the south. Humoristically, he assumed his most chic posture and put one hand on the wall. But the way he was posing almost made Feng Xiaowai angry. Is there something wrong with the man in front of me? Do you think you have a crush on him? Even if I was blind, I would not fall in love with him, nor would I care about his appearance. He would look like a street gangster at first glance. Hello, second brother, I am Feng Xiaowai. The sentence second brother directly broke all Zhang Xiang's looks. Zhang Xiang immediately put down his hand on the wall, put away his arrogant expression, and looked at Feng Xiaowai suspiciously. You are Feng Xiaowai, the daughter of my second uncle's family who gave birth to the wrong child. Why did you come to me? Zhang Xiang felt angry when he mentioned this matter, if it weren't for the fact that Feng Xiaowai and Zhang Xiaoxiao hugged each other wrongly. How can you become cannon fodder and spend more than a year in jail? Now this woman actually dares to come to the door. Does she think that he dare not hit her? Even if she is the daughter of the second uncle, he will still hit her. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 599. Chapter 599 The Incident. An hour later, Zhang Xiang came out full of wine and food. I had a good meal and a drink today. I thought that this Fang Xiaowai was just like that Zhang Xiaoxiao, an ignorant person, but I didn't expect that this Fang Xiaowai was very good at being a good person. Not only did he treat himself to a meal, but he also gave him 50 yuan. Meaning to tell her own hardships, saying that her biological parents did not like her, and wanted her as an elder brother to explain her problems in front of her second uncle and second aunt. This is not a simple matter, just say a few sentences. I had a good meal with good food and wine, and got 50 yuan for nothing. It's not up to him whether to say it or not. However, I might be able to take this opportunity to continue blackmailing Fang Xiaowai in the future. Since this woman is rich, she also wants to curry favor with her second uncle and second aunt. Why doesn't he take the opportunity to get himself some money to spend? Zhang Xiang proudly shaved his teeth with a toothpick, touched the money in his pocket, and went to find his bad friends. Fang Xiaowai sneered, took her purse and took the bus home. This idiot was so gullible. I only asked him to order a few dishes, but he ordered all the most expensive ones, and also ordered a bottle of Wulianjai. Eating a meal cost him 1 month's salary, not to mention giving him 50 yuan. No money? How could this person do such stupid things? She still needs to worry about how to drug this kind of person? He brought this upon himself. When he went to ask for wine for the second time, Fang Xiaowai put medicine in his cup to see if he drank it well. Fang Xiaowai felt even more proud. Just wait. You just need to do your own thing quietly on the side and wait for the bad luck points to be collected. The medicine used this time is similar to the medicine Qin Dazhuang used. Anyway, it makes a person lose his nature. An honest man like Qin Dazhuang can do crazy things in the end, let alone Zhang Xiang, who is not a good person in the first place. Fang Xiaowai went home. Auntie heard Song Mohuan coming home and had already sent her daughter over. Song Mohuan was playing there with her daughter in his arms. Fang Xiaowai glanced at her husband. Let's send our daughter to the nursery tomorrow. Song Mohuan loves his daughter very much now. He held her daughter and asked in surprise. Why do you need to send them to daycare? Grandma and grandfather have nothing to do during the day, so they can help take care of the children. Isn't it like this lately? It's so painful for my children to send them to daycare, and I can't bear to do it. Nanan crawled into Song Mohuan's arms, holding her fingers and gnawing there. Fang Xiaowai sighed. When I sent the child to my grandma this morning, my grandma told me that in the future we would send the child to a nursery or to my parents, saying that they were old and no longer had the energy to help us take care of the child. That's what I thought. The tone of his voice was disappointed, and Song Mohuan felt uncomfortable. Grandma is just making excuses. Didn't she like us a while ago? She asked us to move here. Otherwise, who would be willing to come all the way here? The two of us work in the same class and just take the bus every day. It takes more than an hour by car. If we live at my parents' place, do we still need to travel so far? Even if the child is sent to his parents, there will still be someone to look after the child. She insisted on letting us move here. After we moved here, she didn't help us take care of the children. I'll take care of it. Grandma. I guess now my heart is biased towards Song Moding, so he is unwilling to help us take care of our children. When my aunt came back from seeing my daughter off today, I heard the grandma across the way laughing, and I could also hear the sound of glutinous rice balls. Having the energy to watch glutinous rice balls, but not having the energy to see our daughter, isn't it because grandma is partial? Song Mohuan was extremely angry and defended his daughter and wife. Fang Xiaowai sat next to him. Don't be like this. Why are you angry about this matter? Grandma has been partial to my second brother for so many years. We are not all used to it, and this is not the first time. The more reasonable she was, the angrier Song Mohuan became. By the way, you have a rest tomorrow. Let's go back to Mom's place together. Mom called today and asked us to go back. It sounds like it's quite urgent. But you didn't get off work today, so I can only make an appointment with Mom tomorrow. Song Mohuan was holding Fang Xiaohui there. In his eyes, Fang Xiaohui is the most beautiful woman and the woman he loves most. Fang Xiaohui nodded. Song's mother is also a person with many things to do. The next day, the couple took their children back early in the morning. There was nothing they could do. Even before dawn, Mother Song's fatal blows came at her. Forcing the two of them to go back quickly, Fang Xiaohui didn't know what happened at home, but Fang Xiaohui thought about it. I don't think it was Song's mother who discovered that there was something wrong with her jewelry. But the current Fang Xiaohui and the Fang Xiaohui who did bad things back then are two different people. Even though she felt that the secret might be exposed at this moment, she didn't feel guilty at all. Having done too many bad things, this is probably what happens. The two of them sent their children to the nursery first. After all, if they went back to do errands, they didn't want their children to be there. Who knows what Song's mother will say? Song Mohuan still knows his mother well. Even though his mother pretends to be very qualified and well educated outside, at home she definitely exposes her true nature to her son, daughter-in-law. I can't say anything. As soon as they entered the house, they saw Song's mother and father Song sitting in the living room. There was indeed a jewelry box on the table. Fang Xiaohui's heart skipped a beat, and she realized that this was a wine without good wine and a banquet without good banquet. It must have been for the jewelry box. It seemed that she had used the contents of the jewelry box to expose her secrets. But it doesn't matter, she doesn't believe it, she doesn't admit that Mother Song can still plant it on her head. Anyway, this matter is a matter with no evidence. When Mother Song saw them, she was very angry. You still know how to come back. How many phone calls have I made to urge you to come back quickly? I keep putting it off. Don't you regard us as your parents? Are you doing something bad by being so pushy? Is it immoral? Song's mother scolded her with a gun and a stick. Fang Xiaohui grabbed Song Mohuan's arm. Song Mohuan felt his wife's timidity and panic, and immediately blocked her behind him in a soothing manner. Mom, if you have anything to say, just say it. What are you doing? This is your attitude when we come back in the morning. He doesn't want to go to anyone at this time. Who makes him a man? If he doesn't protect his own woman, how can he ask someone to protect her? Song's mother was so angry with her son that she almost fell over. You have married a daughter-in-law and have forgotten your mother. Now you have to defend this vixen all day long. Do you know what good things she has done? Song's mother pointed at Fang Xiaohui's nose. Fang Xiaohui timidly asked, Mom, what did I do? It adds fuel to the fire. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 600. Chapter 600, Let It Go. You still ask? You have the nerve to ask? Do you still have the nerve to ask? Tell me where the jewelry in my jewelry box went? Where did you take them? You got a bunch of fakes here. Fool me here. Do you know that I wore this jade ring when I went out yesterday and was laughed at by others? Tell me, where did you take all these things? Take them all out for me. Song's mother was so angry that she spoke indiscriminately. Father Song looked at Fang Xiaohui and turned pale with fright, so he had to say something to ease the atmosphere. He didn't quite believe that Fang Xiaohui had done this, but if he didn't believe it, his wife had already gone to great lengths to call her back. You can't talk properly. Look, you're scaring the child. It's not necessarily Xiaohui's fault. Why did you blame Xiaohui for this? Didn't we ask this question calmly as promised? Two children. Mother Song said angrily, you are also protecting her? Who else could she be? Who else in this family could be interested in such things as jewelry except Fang Xiaowai? I have kept this thing at home for decades. But sooner or later, nothing happened. Once Fang Xiaowai married into the family, all my jewelry boxes and jewelry turned out to be fakes. Tell me, she didn't do it? Who else could have done it? It was you. Or was it his son who did it? Father Song argued helplessly, what do we two grown men do with that pile of jewelry? It's of no use to us two. The Song family's character is really not capable of doing such a thing, so the only person worthy of suspicion in the family is indeed Fang Xiaowai. Because the only person who suddenly appears in this family is the new daughter-in-law who married in. Mom, although I just married into our family not long ago, I am not so short-sighted. I have to take your jewelry. Besides, what do I use your jewelry for? If you don't believe it, ask me Mo Huan, I rarely wear jewelry on weekdays. The ring I am wearing was bought by two people when they got married. I usually don't wear these other things at all. Since I don't wear them, what do I do with them? Fang Xiaowai looked aggrieved and angry. And on to this point. Song Mohuan is of course on his wife's side. Mom, you must be mistaken. Xiaowai is not that kind of person. Xiaowai doesn't even wear jewelry on weekdays. Why do you need these jewelry? Protecting her daughter-in-law, Fang Xiaowai hid in his arms and cried like pear blossoms in the rain. Song Mohuan seemed distressed for something. Song's mother said angrily, you idiot, she can't sell these jewelry without wearing them. Do you know how much my jewelry is worth in total? The total value of these jewelry is at least hundreds of thousands. Now everything is worth no, I got a bunch of fakes and passed them off here. Think about it for yourself, if it was done by an outsider, why would they get a bunch of fakes and put them in my jewelry box? If a thief comes in and just takes it away, why would he want to make a fake and deceive me here? This must have been done by one of our own people. Song's mother was very clear-headed at this time. Fang Xiaowai cried, Mom, if you don't believe how much money I have in my bank book, ask Mo Huan. My monthly salary is just a little. The combined salary of our couple is more than 100 yuan. In addition to spending it on the children, it's for my family. The amount we can save is limited. What should I do with so much money? You don't know what's going on with my in-laws' family. My biological father and mother have severed ties with me. People at my adoptive father and mother didn't have much contact with me. What's the point of asking for this money? Song Mohuan certainly knew the inside story and believed that everyone must have their own purpose in doing things. Took these jewelry, either to wear them or to exchange them for money. If she does, Fang Xiaowai is someone who doesn't wear jewelry at all. In terms of money, Fang Xiaowai has no place to spend money, and the wages of the two of them are enough for them. What is the use of this money? It makes no sense at all. Song's mother was also a little suspicious. When she found out about this yesterday, she came back and took out all the jewelry in the jewelry box. It turned out that more than half of them had been replaced by others as fakes. This discovery made her furious. But she didn't act impulsively. She thought calmly for a long time and felt that her idea was correct, and her thoughts definitely pointed to Fang Xiaowai. Because the family needs money, and the only person with this motive is Fang Xiaowai. There is no need for her husband or son to do such a thing. As long as her son opens his mouth, shouldn't she give it to him? But now, according to what her son said, and Fang Xiaowai was crying there with all her heart, Mother Song also felt that she had thought wrong. Is there anyone else confused? Song's mother couldn't help but become suspicious. Song Mohuan looked at his mother and said, Mom, you are right. Since such a thing happened, it must have been done by someone in the family. But in addition to a few of us, there is an aunt in our family. Otherwise, you can call the aunt and ask. Auntie is also the biggest suspect. She has several children at home in the countryside. Speaking of being short of money, My aunt is probably more short of money than we are. Auntie was called over. She had been working in their house for 5 years, and she never thought that she would have such an unreasonable disaster and be regarded as a thief. It scared my aunt to tears. After all, losing these jewelry is a big deal. Brother Song, if something like this happened at my eldest sister's house, why don't you report it to the police? I really didn't take it. If I did, I would be thundered down. Whoever I work for has to be a clean person. It's also true, pure, and innocent. This kind of thing makes me have 10 mouths, and I can't explain it clearly. Auntie is an honest person. She has never seen such a battle. She is really scared. She has lost so many jewelry. How can she explain clearly? Mother Song was so worried that she didn't dare to call the police. Some of her jewelry were of unknown origin. If you call the police, you will be exposed in broad daylight. Then it will not be a joke to outsiders. But Song's mother also determined in her heart that it must be her aunt who got it, and she couldn't keep her, so she paid her salary overnight and let her leave. Auntie felt aggrieved. The first time I left someone else's house, I was chased away as if I were a thief. Song's mother was extremely aggrieved. Most of the jewelry in her jewelry box had turned out to be fakes. She had no place to reason, and she didn't even dare to report the crime. Fang Xiaowai was very proud of herself. After her aunt left, her unlucky score actually increased by 20 points. This proves that my aunt took the blame for this incident, so she has this 20 points of bad luck. It seems that I will have to work harder in the future. This incident calmed down without even a splash. Of course, no one thought of the sequelae of this incident. That is what fueled Fang Xiaowai's inner ambition, and her courage is getting bigger and bigger now. Anyway, someone else will take the blame for the misfortune, so there is nothing I dare not do. Fang Xiaowai is proud that no one knows she did it. End of this chapter.